Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm one of the hosts, Nighthawk. We've got Eric waiting patiently for me to bring him in, and we're going to get through the disclaimer. I want to welcome everybody, say happy birthday to all those beautiful babies born this day, and many, many more. And if you're 196 going on 197, I want you on this podcast because you're a walking miracle. So we haven't seen that age since the Bible. So, anyways, that being said, happy birthday to all those babies born today. Copyright disclaimer is Nighthawk High Strange. This podcast channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content. That's all content to be used for the purposes of criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget the entertainment value, because we know we like to entertain on this channel. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known herein as the Fair Use Act. All right, let's get that off of there. Let's see, where's that picture at? Sorry, folks, I'm running in slow gear this morning. There we go. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Not bad, brother. Not bad. How you doing?
Exhausted, tired.
Yeah.
I see that ED Testerman's in the chat again there.
That damn Yahoo.
Roxanne, good to see you. Peace. Good to see you. All right, let's see who else. We got Uncut Savage, Shen Valley Girl. Melissa, I haven't seen you in a while on here. Are you making the donuts today, or are you taking today off? That's what I want to know, because I could use a donut. Damos Mars, good to see you.
Uncut's double dipping.
Yeah, see?
Ain't no wrong, man. Build that double dipping digits.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,
that was
we got quite a few different subjects today we're going to talk about, Eric. We're going to get into a little bit about the NDEs, which is the near-death experiences. We're going to get into things like time travel. We're going to talk a little bit about, and stuff that's going on with the world today. I don't know if anybody out there knows, but I was up late watching the news. I watched that agenda-free news network and Next News Network, and they had on last night that Hezbollah allegedly shot over 6,000 rockets and drones into Israel this morning at 5 a.m. their time, which is like 10 o'clock in the evening the day before our time. And that Israel was going to retaliate and all that. And I watched it for several hours to see what was going to happen. And it seemed to have calmed down. And Israel saying that nothing happened as far as really major damage and loss of life. But Hezbollah is claiming all kinds of stuff. It's the same old, and those factions have been at each other's throats since the beginning of the Bible. They really have. And there's really not a lot we can do about it except pray for it. So I just wanted to extend it out there to everybody to please, if you can, pray for them over there. Okay. Pray that there's peace and guidance and that somehow our Creator can make unconditional love go across that whole region, because that's the way it's supposed to be, and I do believe unconditional love is the strongest power in the universe. So That's just my
Well,
opinion.
a lot of people forget their half brothers has been fighting each other for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
The Muslim religion was started by Abraham's oldest son by the Egyptian slave woman Ishmael, and
Mm-hmm.
then long came his wife gave birth to Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So Ishmael
Mm-hmm.
was cast out with his mother, and when they were in the desert, God came to them, said, "Start this religion." That's where the Muslim religion came from. So them two fighting are just they're two half brothers who've been fighting each other for thousands of years.
Which is kind of what happens nowadays. If you know, if you're a child of a second marriage, the half siblings
Yeah,
fight. I don't know why. I don't know
we
why. I have half siblings myself, and we hate each other. Unfortunately, it has to be that way. Um,
yeah.
I just
I
just the
mean,
way I was
I'm the
raised.
oldest of I'm the oldest of four boys. There was me and my half brother for a long time. Then mom married dad, which my two step brothers came in. We used to like fight like cats and dogs, but heaven forbid anybody else mess with them, because then you got all
Yeah,
four of us coming at you. We're tight now,
yeah,
but I mean it happens. You know,
yeah. Exactly. It does happen. It definitely does happen. Well, it's good to see everybody in the chat, and I want to thank everybody for being there, and I want to thank our moderator Roxanne. She's holding down that fort for me and keeping everybody on the up and up, including that ED Testerman guy. You know, you guys might
yeah.
want to try and get that ED Testerman guy to start talking a little bit instead of just hiding in the shadows in the chat. Okay, so keep an eye on him. All
Sneaky,
right,
sneaky.
Poncho, good to see you. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to cover a wide variety of things today because I had some questions too about things. The girl on. Oh my god, I love that. I love it. That
Oh
is
my
hilarious.
god!
Oh, just see you, brother.
Yeah, I seen that and I was like, oh god, yeah.
That's hilarious, Poncho. Oh my god, I'm choking. Oh wow. I needed that. Thanks, Poncho. I needed that, bro. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to cover a bunch of different topics. I really did. Everything from if people's had near death experiences and or something along that lines to time travel to what's going on in the world today a little bit with what I just went over. Um, there I did notice as I was watching it last night, late last night into early this morning. Um, I saw something very peculiar in the sky when all those booms were going off. It sounded like tow weapons going off, mortars, all kinds of stuff going off, along with regular missile launches and stuff like that. But anyways, yes, thank you. Please like and subscribe and share this. That really helps with the algorithm. Roger, good morning. Good morning to see you, David. Good to see you. Anyways, but I saw something in the sky when all that was happening, and I thought, well, maybe that's a missile. And no, it wasn't a missile. I got to go back and see if I could find that footage for that because I didn't mark it in time on the timer for the newscast because they don't run a timer with it. But it looked like a cigar-shaped UFO. I swear to God, it looked like a silvery cigar-shaped UFO just there, and it's like as soon as it was seen, it darted into a cloud.
Hmm.
So, and it was the typical cigar-shaped UFO that I saw while I was watching that, and that was on the Agenda Free News network, where that one guy runs it, and it's a pretty decent thing. I mean, he puts on the live camera feeds and all that. But when I saw that, I was like, "Wow, really?" Because there's no way they could fake that on live TV. And that thing had to have been
Yeah.
as long as a mobile home for me to see it. So
Well, yeah. I mean, the only way they could fake it live is with CGI.
yeah, I don't think it was CGI because they would have to fake a lot of that on that live. I don't even know if you can do CGI live. That'd be
They
real
do
hard.
it with they do it with a certain individual quite often. That's why you'll notice he'll glitch out from time to time, or he won't blink.
Yeah, I know they can do it with people because they can do the holographic imaging thing because they've had that technology for a while. But yeah, I just don't think there was any way they could have faked this. But it looked exactly like a cigar-shaped UFO. Whoa!
Wow, I seen that.
What the heck just happened?
It was still moving over there by your picture just a second ago.
Yeah. What the heck? Give me 1 second, folks.
Is that Geronimo?
That's
not Geronimo.
All the weird shit is happening today. Well, it happened right by my Mayan. Let me see if I can show this to you all. This is my Mayan. It's an offering bowl, but it's Mayan, and it's also a flute, believe it or not. Got to clean it out. But yeah, it's an offering bowl that you put offerings in. And I've had it for a good number of years. See, it is a flute. It's got the thing in the back for the air to go through. And there's where you come in. I've never blown it because it sounds to me like a death. Remember the sound of the death flutes, death rattle flutes that they used to make out of bones of birds. Well, it sounds kind of like that. So I've been kind of not wanting to do it. But that right there, what happened with that whole corner was really, really something. Look at it. It knocked Corey's thing off too.
It looked like a little 2-foot tall shadow thing crawled right up to the corner past your picture and up towards the ceiling.
I wouldn't be surprised if something wasn't attached to this thing here. See, we have all kinds of weird crap happening. Your place, my place. I'm going to put this back up there.
Yeah.
Stay there. I don't know if you all can see this, but I've got my Native American stuff. When I originally did the podcast, I had my sitting bull and his son pictures behind me, along with my ancestors up above and all that, with some Black Hills pottery and the Mayan thing. Just had that for the background, and then I went and bought these tapestries and because they were cheap enough. But I haven't had anything weird like that happen in a long time. I mean, I see stuff when I'm in here all the time, but as far as something that major being thrown, that was something.
I've seen it. It went literally from your bottom all the way up to your right corner, and then everything started. It was like a little 2-foot long gremlin looking thing. I mean, Roger was kind of right. Could have been a gremlin. But
yeah. Roger even says it might be a gremlin. So yeah, it very well could be. I mean, last night was a weird night. I was really, really stressed out about the whole thing over there in the Middle East and all that. And I started thinking about a lot of things. And, they're talking about how we're supposed to go with some kind of a EMP attack here within the next couple of days here in the U.S. Trying to take down our grid system. Because, our grid system is actually, I think it's 4 separate grids, but they're going to try and coordinate it to all 4 at the same time. And then I heard rumors. Has anybody else heard this rumor about China wanting to shoot a nuclear weapon off into a Yellowstone supervolcano?
No, I haven't heard that, but one thing that kind of catches my attention, you was talking about shooting an EMP and dropping the grid. I kept having a feeling most night last night, and I need to get prepared for not having electricity.
Exactly. And that's, in fact, you and I talked about that the other morning a little bit, and no, it was Friday night before the podcast. We talked about it. And, I asked you what kind of stuff you had, and we don't want to disclose what we all have, but I just want to make sure everybody's going to be safe and going to be able to see in the dark. I did respond to Ida in the chat from the podcast we did together Friday night, and asked her to send me to my email her mailing address so I can mail her one of them bracelets and some other things. And like I said, I've got stuff for what is that? Something scratching the outside window of the window. See, there's a window behind me. Okay. And it's a pretty good sized window, but I've got it to where it's closed off, and the sun's blocked out, so I can't really look out of it. But something scratching the window. That was weird. Huh. Probably my neighbor over there methed out. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Anyways,
yeah, there's
there's
a lot of
good
strange.
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Go
a
ahead,
lot of
Ray.
strangeness going on right now.
Yeah,
a
there
lot of
definitely
it.
is. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I was handling a little bit of side business too. Good morning, Cynthia. But yeah, we need to definitely keep that in mind. I mean, it just hit me like a flood last night. Thank you, Roxanne. This hit me like a flood last night because I was walking around with the flashlights, like I don't want to turn my lights on. I'd cooked some pork steaks and forgot to put them up, and I was almost asleep, and I went, crap, I left my pork steaks in the air fryer. So I was like, I ain't gonna go walk here and turn a bunch of damn lights on. I just grabbed the flashlight, and then it just hit me like a flood last night. It's like, be prepared for no electricity, which we're waiting on the 10 days of darkness. The 10 days of darkness.
Yeah, that's going to be something too, and that's got to be the power grid going down big time. I know somebody was talking about it yesterday. I noticed they were talking about the 3 days of darkness, but I do believe we've already had that, or at least parts of this country has had it. No, it was just a lot of weird things last night were happening all simultaneously, and it was like my mind wouldn't turn it off, and I just kept on thinking about it and researching it, and and I just wanted to get on a couple different subjects today. Near death experiences. I know you've had them. I've had them. I had one when I was 3 years old. I think everybody knows about. I had one when I had my heart rate was 229 beats a minute, and they gave me the series of shots, except for the last one that make your whole body seize up and cringe, to try and slow my heart rate, and basically died and came back. 3 days later, in the hospital, my heart rate got back down to somewhat normal. And then during the 9-hour surgery for my first cancer, I also died. So, I mean, I've gone through three of them that I know of, because, there's this theory out there too, that when we sleep at night, that our body actually dies. And I don't think that that's what happens, but that's just a theory out there. I don't know how it started, but to me, that's not dying. That's the soul wanting a period of rest. And when we dream vivid dreams, our soul doesn't rest. Our soul continues on in our subconscious. So, but yeah, that being said, good to see you, Cynthia. That being said, I wondered, if you could explain a little bit about what you went through, Eric, and maybe if somebody's had one in the chat, maybe we can bring on and see what they say happened, because we know Corey was on, and someone else the other time we did near death experiences, and I wanted to do a second one, so that's why I'm kind of interested in that, to see what everybody says, if it happened to them, because some people have completely different things.
Yeah, see, mine ain't real special. I mean, I damn near died. In fact, I have a lot of missing time during that time frame. A lot of it. This is when I found out I'm hypoglycemic, and I was actually just got hired on where I'm working now. I just got hired on full time. I'd been a seasonal for 2 years, and I just got hired on full time. And then, of course, I always knew there was time close to eat, because I'd be feeling weird. So I always knew I had to eat something, and it usually leveled me out. I just never thought nothing about it. And then I remember I was like, okay, well, I got 30 minutes. We'll be eating. So I'm just going to eat some, cheap brand Oreos, and that'd be all right. And that'd hold me over for 30 minutes. Well, I went from when I was trying to turn a wheel left, I was actually going right. When I was trying to go right, I was going left. I mean, it was just throwing me So next thing you know, I was like, man, I got to get off this truck. I said, I need to go to the doctor. My boss is like, well, we can take you. I said, well, I'll drive up to Marshfield. Granted, it's only 45 minutes from work, but I'll drive to Marshfield. I'll drive myself. He goes, you're not driving yourself. I couldn't put words together. I was struggling to speak one freaking word. And then next thing you know, I'm getting rushed from the clinic to the hospital. And for me, this is exactly how my memory is. I literally just got to the hospital, to the ER, and just got transferred from the ambulance bed to the gurney. And I turn around, all of a sudden my brother's there. I'm like, where the hell did you come from? He goes, man, I've been here for 2 hours. I said, no, you haven't. I said, I literally just got in this fucking bed. I said, I'm trying to position myself. He goes, no, we've been talking for 2 hours, bro. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, during this conversation, his girlfriend's there. My dad's there. My girlfriend at the time was there. And then my buddy John from work was there. It's like, where the fuck are you guys coming from? I mean, they're literally, to me, was popping out of nowhere. Well, come find out.
And that's how it happened.
And come find out, I was pretty much going in and out of coma and almost died. I mean, that was the closest. I mean, outside of that, combat zone is the only other things I've ever had. But, I've always had, for like dreams, for me, my dreams have always been vivid, extremely vivid. I can taste, smell, feel everything, just like I'm alive. I've been fighting aliens. I'll be fighting demons. I'll be fighting monsters. I'll be fighting people trying to invade my country. These are the dreams that goes through my head, and I can feel it. I'll get shot, and I'll wake up, and I'll actually have a red mark where I got shot. I'll get cut, and I'll have a red mark cut. Some of the places I can go, okay, wait, my hands can reach it, so I can't say that it wasn't my hands. There's also places my hands can't reach, and I'll have them marked. So it's very, very weird. I mean, and this is dreams that I have, and it's very, very weird dreams. I've had dreams where I've literally was floating above my body, and I'm looking around going, man, this is weird. And I felt funny, and I can remember it because it was like, this just doesn't feel right. And why am I looking down upon myself? I mean, I literally had dreams like that. And that's pretty much the stuff that I've experienced. But the one near death for sure, like it was nothing. It was just like multiple missing time frames.
Yeah. I like what Uncut Savage says here. I have had life events flash before my eyes in seconds during a car crash. And that's almost like, and that happens. You see, you're given glimpses of your past life. Basically it's the universe or the creator basically putting upon you certain areas of your life where the outcome should have been different. That's how I interpret that. Or, where you've been blessed, and allowed to continue life in the human form. But sometimes, that human form is not a blessing, because the world can be a very cold, cruel place. But that from being in the military, along with me and David and Melissa in the chat and everybody else. we know how cold and cruel the world can be. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to just suck it up and, and try to dredge through it, and with everything going on in the world today, I would imagine everybody's having these dreams or visions in their sleep quite a bit. So anybody in the chat, I mean, have you had bizarre, weird visions or dreams, whether it was a daydream, a nightmare, or whatever over the last, year, because things that go on in the physical world that does affect the spiritual world. Okay. It will affect the spiritual world. Okay. There is a connection between the physical and the spirit. And I call it basically a conduit. And a lot of it is our senses, and a lot of people don't think about this. It's like when you walk in through, like you're walking through a graveyard, or you're doing a graveyard investigation. God forbid, because I hate, going to graveyards and doing investigations because I just feel that it's disrespectful. But that's my opinion. But when you get that cold chill going down your spine
Mm.
and you think you see something out of your peripheral vision, that's our conduit from the physical realm to the spiritual realm, giving us that warning that you might not want to tread in that area of the graveyard, or avoid it altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the same thing that happens when we're given these visions just before a tragic accident or something happens. So that's, and again, that's just my theory, but, I'm kind of curious to see what everybody else thinks about it, you know?
Mm. Yeah, this one here. One of the dreams Demos has had is woof. Right up here, it says every now and then I have recurring dreams about being attacked by witches, old hags with green skin. I mean, that could be your subconscious there going, hey, man, this is the type of stuff going on, and your subconscious stretches are this way, mainly because everybody and their brother has seen the Wizard of Oz. So, and Halloween stuff, oh, witches are green. That's just your subconscious trying to put a color to it because that's familiar to you. That way you can
Well, can I,
identify it.
yeah, let me say something here. I remember, and we all know my childhood, okay? My
Mm-hmm.
childhood was completely screwed up, okay? I was doing things I shouldn't have been able to do, should have never been brought into, um, by one of my parents. And, make a long story short, I saw my one parent that was teaching me the dark arts and stuff for the native people. Um, she physically could transform at that point in time in her life, from and my mother was a beautiful woman. She really was. She was, she wasn't a big woman, a tall woman, but she was very pretty. Okay, very, very pretty, and you could tell, she had that Native American physical features of beauty, and it's a beauty where they don't have to wear any makeup and stuff, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
stunningly gorgeous. And my mother
Yeah.
was like that, and but I saw her one time, and it did freak me out. I gotta admit, as a child, it freaked me out. I was probably about 6 years old, and um, I remember she said something under her breath as she turned and walked away from me, and she turned her shoulders back to look at me because I was playing on the living room floor. And when she did that, she looked literally like a green witch.
Hmm.
Okay. And, then she turned back around, her shoulders and head turned back around, like they twist, when you twist to look behind you. And she turned back to normal. So a lot of that, you say, well, you were a child, maybe you were influenced by just a fear at the time of what you were going through and all that. And I don't believe that's it. I do believe that there are people. I mean, I could do when I was into the dark arts, man, I could do so much. I mean, I was unstoppable. I really was. I thought I was invincible. Um, and you get that feeling. That's the feeling that the darkness wants you to have. They want you to have that feeling that you can't be stopped, and you've got power, and and the more power you have, the more you thirst for, and it's true. It's very true. Um, but you know, I do believe that there are people that can influence how they're perceived by others just by thoughts. Okay, just by a
Mm-hmm.
thought process of thinking in the back of their mind. Well, you know, if that person's not liking how I am now, how would they like me if I'm like this? You know what I mean? And then boom, that vision of that demonic entity pops up where the person's standing. You know what I mean? And that's the demonics opening to come in and manipulate any situation in anybody's life. So we have to remember that. I mean,
Yeah.
have you ever had any weird thing like that happen, Eric?
I've never seen green stuff when it dealt with witches and hags. Even with the dark side of my family, I've never seen anybody turn green. I've seen them turn like a real shady color, almost
Like
like
a
they were.
gray.
Yeah, well, it was like a gray to just start in, and the longer it went, they got to more of a shadowy dark color, if that makes sense. Usually
Yeah,
started
that
with
makes
the
perfect.
eyes. The eyes would get like really, really dark, and then the rest of their body would ashen, and then all of a sudden the rest of their body would start getting a little bit darker. I've seen that crap. I've never seen anybody
Mm-hmm.
turn green. My experience has always been that case right there. And I've always had I don't know why, I've always had a bad feeling about anybody with darkness around their eyes and I think that stems from seeing what I seen growing up with a certain side of my family. And that's why I never got into it. I mean, that shit scared me. Like I said, I don't have the knowledge you have in that because I never was into it. I had family that was, and I've been around it. And I just like, man, I knew from a very young age that wasn't for me. That
Right.
just and what I've seen done to them. But it was always weird because it always started out with the eyes, and the eyes would damn near be like black circles around their eyes, and their eyes would almost turn black, and their skin would
Yeah.
ashen color, and then slowly, slowly get darker and darker. It's weird as
Yeah.
shit. Damn, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that now, man.
Well, we don't want to freak anybody out, but yeah,
No,
this is
man,
stuff
but
that really, if you think about it, even back then in those days, there was a point where the paranormal and supernatural welded together, and
mm-hmm.
basically, around certain times of the year, when it was more depressive for people, the supernatural would come out and influence it to where it was paranormal. And, you'd see it in wintertime because wintertime, people hate going outside unless you're a snow bunny. Let's face it. Nobody wants to trudge through
Mm-hmm.
4 foot of snow, you know, um, or walk in the middle of the road when it's not plowed, you know what I mean? Um, or like during the rainy days of spring, where it never seems to stop raining, that those kind of influences of the environment influence us physically. And those are certain times of the years that we're more depressed, and we're more internal focused. And that's a time when a lot of the supernatural entities can attach to somebody, is when your morale, let's say your morale, or your the way you feel in your soul is affected by the environment around you. And that's how a lot of attachments happen, and possessions even happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Like if I'm coming up to the area that I feel a strange energy to, and this is me and I'll admit this is me and my stupidity. I come to an area that I feel strange energy. I'm like, I want to see. Let's go
yeah.
investigate. I'll go up there, but if I get to places that has that, and all of a sudden I get images of something attacking me that's not natural, I back up. So it's like, okay, this
Right.
is
Exactly.
something here. Oh, damn! I just got chills that shot all of me thinking about one of those instances.
Yeah, it's
Um,
starting to kick up some activity around you.
Yeah, but I mean, man, my whole body it's tingling right now. It's starting from my feet, working all the way up. Man, it's my whole head. Everything's tingling right now. But if I come to a place that's like that, and I start getting images in my head of something that's going to come after me and something that's going to attack me, I stop because I was like, okay, there is something here that's extremely powerful, and I'm not set up for protection against whatever this is here because this is
There's
not my
something
home,
there
so I don't have
behind you
to.
to your right. To your right of
Yeah.
right shoulder, to your right shoulder, there in the corner, there's something because I've seen it 3 or 4 different times. Yeah, see, it just tweaked in and out. It gets
Mm.
real, almost like the camera's trying to focus on it, and it gets
Mhm.
real blurry. And then there it goes again. So yeah, it's really weird.
Let's have
But
fun with the
yeah,
camera. Oh, man, I went like this, and all of a sudden my vibration went away.
yeah, there's something there, something standing there.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I
I'm
don't
sure
think it's
people in the
bad.
chat.
I don't. There, there's that chilling coming back. I don't. To me, it don't feel bad, so I'm not worried about it.
Right, right.
I think it's kind of protect me because I'm getting into something that I don't share very often, and usually when I go into places like this, that's because it's something very very dark there, very very evil. My godmother, my grandmother, like I said, my very first paranormal experience I ever had at 3 years old said, she took her life. She did. She was very sick in the head and took her life, sadly. Um, she was very, very attached to me. In fact, her and my mom is what kept me alive when I was a baby. And
Right.
she loved me so much that she was considering me her son at one time. But her ghost was the first ghost experience I ever had, and she always said, "I'll protect you." And I've had certain things happen throughout my life that I swear, when you hear a battle going on through your hallway because you're being held down and can't move, and you can really feel the energy being sucked out of you, and all of a sudden there's crashing and banging through your room that goes down the damn hallway of your house. I always knew, it always popped in my head. That's my grandmother protecting me from whatever was attacking me. And then eventually
Exactly.
I'm able to snap out of it and rebuke it in the name of Yahweh, and then
Right.
it's gone. So, I mean,
Yep.
it's probably her protecting me because, she's feeding off that emotions I'm getting right now because, I mean, I'm talking about things and it's all reoccurring in my head right now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, between here and there, I mean, there's definitely a lot of activity. So, and it's
mhm.
because of the topic, definitely today. It just brings
Oh,
out,
yeah.
the good and the worst and things that are around us every day that we
Yeah.
can't see. So, um, let me think here. I'm going through the chat here to see what everybody's saying. I got mad and chased
Yeah.
after it. I have had recurrent dreams of seeing many UFOs in the sky. Yeah, UFO dreams, Ida, are pretty common actually. A
Mhm.
lot of people have them, and I don't know if it's because of our internal fear that we have of the unknown, dealing with them, or like there's people out there that, and I have this too. I've talked about this too about aliens being demonic, actually being demons, and there is a
Yeah.
big part of the paranormal world that do believe that the angels, um, the fallen angels, are basically the ones that are manipulating, you know, the alien thing right now, and
Mhm.
that they are completely demonic in nature. I can honestly say that when I had my incident happen in 1987, we were coming back from me and two of my buddies were coming back from a haunted house, and it was a JC's put on a haunted house, and we were members of the JC's, and this was in 1987 and October, and I was driving my old Chevy truck. I had a 65 Chevy, pickup truck, two-wheel drive, but it was pretty nice, and nice old truck. And we were driving on this back country road, and we came to this corner where this baseball field was, and there was this triangle craft just a couple feet above the perimeter fence line around the ball field. And this craft took up the entire ball field, and the bottom of it was red lights, and the red just glowed off of the trees and the ground and the fence. And I mean, it made everything red. And from that point on, I don't remember driving back home or even dropping them off at their house. So, yeah, it was really something. And I came out of it as I was pulling in our driveway. I came out of it and I realized, my God, I'm already home. It really, from the point where we made that sharp turn around the corner on the country road by the ball field to the point of me entering my driveway, I remember nothing, literally nothing. So, and they're the same way. They told me that they were the same way. Unfortunately, one of my best man at my wedding committed suicide a couple years ago, and he took his own life and unalived himself. And military veteran, and you know how that goes with us.
Yeah.
We have our good days, bad days, and it just, he just had enough apparently, and he
That's
was
sad.
being accused of a few things, and I don't know all the details, but it was pretty bad, and he took his life. And you know, every now and then, I can sense like he's around or see glimpses of him, So he is definitely soul trapped, is what I call it, in this
Yeah.
world, because of how he left the world. So I don't know. Does anybody else in the chat feel that when we are victims of our own, how do I want to say this? Victims of our own, um, I don't even know how to put it in words. Victims of our own feelings of loneliness and despair, to where we do unalive ourselves. Does anybody else ever had that happen in their lives, where it was a friend of a family or a family member that you've seen or experienced sometime after they did that? Do you feel
Yeah.
that um, going that way, that there's a difference between natural unaliving yourself, which is like heart attack, stroke, brain aneurysm, that kind of stuff, diabetes, car accidents, that kind of stuff, where it's more of a natural uh, death experience? Do you feel that the soul has a better chance of going over to the good part of where we go in the unalived life, or is it just everybody given a choice? You know what I mean? Because I feel that if you take your own uh, unalive yourself your own way, like my brother did, my best friend did, I almost feel like you're going to be soul trapped, and that's really the only way I can describe it. You don't really go to hell. Okay, I kind of think that it's more of a soul trap.
Hmm.
What do you think, Eric?
Well, I mean, growing up, in the Mormon community, the Baptist community, and the Protestant community, I'm always told you take your life, then you're doomed for hell. The more I learn and the more I experience through life growing up, I'm starting to wonder if that's actually the case or not. Um, just because of the several things that the Bible says, and the fact of what ancient civilizations has did for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, I'm not so sure no more. I'm not 100% sure on that anymore. I'm a firm believer the reason why we have so much paranormal activity is because the souls don't directly go to heaven or hell. They're stuck here. Now, could this be what we consider purgatory? Possibly. And the reason why I think this is because, so if you want to study the Bible says in the end of days, the dead will rise before the living. So if you're dead and you're already in heaven or hell, how are you going to rise before the living? You know,
Right.
it's just one of those things that I've always questioned. Like, this does not make sense. This doesn't compute. And they'll say, oh, well, you know, the bodies of it. Okay, if that's the case, then what about all these millions upon millions upon millions of bodies that's been cremated throughout history? How their body's going to rise? You know,
Yeah.
it's just, I've always.
Woo. Good to see Woo Rider in there. Good to see you. Has a question. What about those who take someone else's life? How do you feel about that? Do you think someone that takes somebody else's life?
That I can unequivocally say is a pure sin, and if you don't, well, what is the term I'm looking for? Repent. And I believe you're going straight to hell, absolutely, because it's a not only an unnatural sin to take somebody's life in a way like that, but it's also a biblical sin to do that as well. You know,
Right.
That's to me.
Right.
You know, I always knew there's one sin that keeps you out of heaven. That's turning your back upon God and never asking back into your life. That is a one-way ticket to hell. That is the one unforgivable sin.
That's actually in the Bible too. That if you turn your away from Jesus, you know, you that's the one sin that will stop you from going to heaven. Is that you would go directly to hell and go past. Do not pass go and do not collect $200. You're going to hell. You know, that's pretty much what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, and if you go by that concept, then yes, even murdering somebody, you can be forgiven and go back to heaven. So it's one of those. That's one of those things that is just I don't know the real good answer for. I mean, if I study the Torah and I study this stuff and then I go by that word, then obviously if I kill somebody, if I murder somebody, cold-blooded murder somebody, and I ask God for forgiveness and I repent for what I've done and I'm truly sorry that I did what I did, then according to the Bible, I'm going to heaven. So it's just it's one of those things.
Yeah,
I like.
I agree with Melissa. I agree with Melissa here. She believes that if you die by S, you are stuck in between, and I believe that. Because I think, you know, and a lot of people call it purgatory. Some people call it the upside down world, the shadow realm, the veil. I do believe that that's where the unclean spirits go to, I guess would be the best way to say it. Unclean means that the soul or the spirit is tattered with sin of some kind and hasn't been redeemed or, you know, forgiven, because that soul person was never in a position to ask for forgiveness by the blood of the Lamb, you know, and I do believe that, you know, for a fact. What's Wu say here? Send girl. It does say in the Bible that people will stay in the state of rest until God comes back. Yes, that is true. It does say that. Yeah. What do you think is the involuntary manslaughter, like a drunk driver when they kill an innocent in another? I just, you know, that's Roxanne. That's a real good question. A drunk driver, I mean, you are supposed to be, we're all held accountable for our actions, okay? But it also says in the same time in the Bible, our works will not grant us permission to go to heaven. So will our unworks I guess is the best way to put it, like a drunk driver accidentally, because they're drunk, hitting somebody and unaliving them. Is that an automatic ticket to hell? I don't want to say yes to that. I'm not too sure, but I would say that everybody is given the opportunity to be forgiven. And if that individual that unalived somebody by accident while intoxicated, or under the influence of anything, asks for forgiveness through Jesus and all that, Yeshua, and and they change their life around, and live more of a life promoting the goodness and the happiness in life, and makes that added attempt to reach out to the family and beg for forgiveness. I do believe that they would go to heaven. I just to be out of control, and we've all been there when we were young. Okay, we've all, not one of us can say that we haven't been out of control at one point or time of our young life. Whether you're driving under a Cinderella license and drinking and going to parties from high school, and college parties, and and then going out, and when you're in the military, because how you get when you're on leave, you get totally snockered when you're on leave. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I've never done that. I've always been a perfect angel.
Yeah, right. And pigs will fly out my ass. Anyways, we've all been there, and we've been a little rowdy and stuff. So we've all just been, majority of us have probably just been lucky that something bad didn't happen because of it. You know what I'm saying? So.
And this comment that Wu made is kind of where I'm on the fence on that, because you're absolutely 100% correct, Wu. It's your choice to get that damn drunk. It's your choice to drive. So therefore, you are 100% responsible for what happened. But also, listen to the good book. It says you repent and ask for forgiveness, and you quit doing it, then you're going to go to heaven.
Yep.
Wu also asked, did you all see the new shroud of torn images? No, I haven't.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing too, though, guys, in the chat, and ladies, excuse me, I don't mean to say that, and whatever pronouns are out there. anyways, sorry if I offended somebody. The Shroud of Turin, I'm just not sure that is the actual image of Christ. Okay, because man, brothers and sisters out there, we are told so many things that have been wrong, since we were born. And I just think the description of Jesus, currently being a white person with the long, beautiful, flowing hair and the well-groomed beard and all that, I'm just not sold that is the way that Jesus presented himself, that God presented Jesus, his one and only Son, to everybody. I mean, the descriptions in the Bible talk about him having, the hair like, well, like an African person of African descent, very not dark skinned, but definitely brown skinned. So I'm just not sold that he is a white guy. I'm just not. And that's just me. You guys can disagree with me all you want. That's just my opinion. Because the Bible was so torn apart and so many books of the Bible have been left out on purpose because the Vatican wanted it that way. And
Yeah.
what gives the Vatican the right to do something like that? When it's like when you're on a juror, when you're a juror during a trial, and say somebody's being convicted of or tried for murder, okay? And it's up to the jury to find out what's true and what's not true, in everything that goes on in the courtroom. Well, if that person isn't cross-examined by the the defendant's counsel and given the opportunity to describe certain things that led up to that event, um, the jurors wouldn't get the entire truth. You know what I'm saying? Which is the same way with the shroud. I just believe that we're not given the entire truth on the subject. Um, it very well could be the shroud of Turin, which is the shroud that covered Jesus, that wrapped Jesus' body in. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. I just think the description of Jesus in the Bible differs from what the shroud looks like.
Yeah. So there's one thing that people forget, because we were sold on this image of Jesus. We're always told through churches and everything else, this is what Jesus looked like. Jesus didn't have blue eyes, folks. Jesus wasn't pure white. You forget one major thing. Jesus is a Jew. Jew are darker skinned, darker
Yep.
eye colors. They're not
Yep.
African black, but they are darker skinned. A little bit
Yep.
darker than Native American, lighter than the Africans.
Yep.
People don't stop and think about that. Jesus was a Jew,
Yep. Yep.
plain and simple.
Yep.
And I hate to break your all's heart, but I mean that's the truth. Did you see that message I had up from you for Juno? This one here. You had a vision last night. Could see the Earth and the planets and all the three cosmoses. 4 meteors were flying by, one larger than the other three. William will email you details later.
All right. Good, Juno. I got to get Juno on here sometime so we can
Mm-hmm.
all talk about the Dulce, New Mexico area. Here's a
Mm-hmm.
question for you guys in the chat and Eric. Back, I'm not exactly sure what the exact date was, but has anybody ever heard of the Loretto Chapel in New Mexico?
A
Um,
little.
Now there is this I call them nunneries. I don't know why I call them nunneries. It's probably because there's more nuns there than there are priests. But it's this little Loretto Chapel is in New Mexico, and they were praying for like 9 days straight because the Frenchman that was doing the carpentry work and remodeling their little chapel, um, for them had passed away, and he didn't have time to complete a stairway to the choir loft. Okay, and basically the story goes that these nuns of the chapel, the Loretto Chapel, were praying for 9 days straight for somebody to come and build these stairs for them. And I believe they prayed to Saint Christopher. I think that's the one. I'm not Catholic, so I don't really know. I'm pretty sure it was Saint Christopher. But anyways, after the 9 days, they said this man came on a donkey, riding a donkey, and he told the nuns, "I'm here to complete your stairs." And he was sent to complete the stairs. And the nuns are all happy going, but he goes, "I don't want to be interrupted for 3 months while I do this." Okay. So he went into chapel, and the nuns, stayed away from inside the chapel where he was working. And all of a sudden, 3 months later, the man had disappeared completely. And the nuns were basically worried because they hadn't paid him. He didn't ask for anything in return. And he made these beautiful, breathtaking stairs. I mean, and yeah, St. Joseph. Yes. Thank you, Ida. Not one of the part of the stairs was put together with nails. Not one. It was all held together by wood. Okay. It was all interwoven like it grew there naturally. And it's the most beautiful stairs you'd ever want to find in your life. And anyways, the nuns, after they realized that this gentleman had left without being paid, they went to the lumber yard there locally and asked the lumber yard, we're here to pay the bill for the lumber that the gentleman got to build our stairs. And the owner of the lumber yard looked at the nuns and he goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "He never got lumber from us. We don't even know who you're talking about." Now, if that doesn't send chills down your spine about a prayer being answered, I don't know what will. But these stairs, they were so grateful. And even today, those stairs are the most beautifully handcrafted stairs. It had to have been divinely done. It had to have been. Because to build something like those stairs without any glue, without any nails, without any screws, it would be impossible, literally impossible to keep it together. But to this day, and I think it's been like, I don't know, 80 years or so since they were built. To this day, those stairs are still in immaculate condition and beautiful.
What was that called again?
The Loretto Chapel. I don't have a picture of them, but there should be a picture online of the staircase. If you can find it, load it up, that'd be great. But it is the most beautifully handcrafted stairs, and we talk a lot about how, there's power in words. We went through this on Friday night. And just think, if there's powers in simple words and phrases, just think about how powerful your prayers can be, And I'm not saying, that the Muslim or the Hindu or the Native American or, the pagan or the Christian way or the Catholic way of prayer is right. I'm just saying any prayer that you do, it's got to be more potent than just saying something and making an action from your words. It really does, because if you think about it, when you're praying to the Creator, the one being that made all these universes and all these parallel universes, endlessly amounts, which He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So it would make sense that it was divinely inspired, that their prayers were literally answered. Yes, prayer is a meditation. That is correct. That is very correct.
Yeah. So, what's interesting is when I was homeless, when my family, me and my half brother, my mom were homeless back in the 80s, a Jewish family took us in for a little bit. And they're considered they're the side of the Jews that believe that Jesus is the Messiah. I mean, people don't realize there's two sides of Judaism. There's the believers and the non-believers. Okay.
Exactly.
They were the believers. Okay. And, they were still a darker color, but lighter than used to. And I remember looking through their pictures books and stuff, and you can see how the progression of their shade of darkness have came down through several generations, especially the ones that came over here. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to that. When the color thing, you got to realize people change with their environment.
Right.
And another thing you got to consider too is that anybody in here ever heard of the 5 civilized Native American tribes? I know you have, William.
Oh yeah.
As there in Native American culture, there was 5 tribes. It was known as the 5 civilized tribes. Cherokee's one. Man, I'm going to have to get that written down. I forgot all 5 of them. I remember Cherokee because that dealt with me.
Seneca.
Then there's Seneca. If you realize, so they each had curly hair. Even the Jews had curly hair. When the white man came over, these 5 civilized tribes knew what the cross looked like. They all knelt down and praised the cross. There's things in Georgia called the cross stone. Those are the cross stones. They're stones that look like crosses, and they're very sacred to the Cherokee people. Okay? They done a DNA test on these 5 civilized tribes. They all came back as having Jewish DNA in them. And that's why they're considered possibly being the lost tribe of Judah, the 12th tribe. And if you look, the similarities between all 5 of these civilized tribes are very similar. The practices, everything. I mean, they had law, they had order, they had government, they had language. I mean, they had written language. This is the type of stuff that goes on, and they knew things that it blew the white man's mind because, like, how do you know this? You don't know this. You're a pagan. You know, you don't know nothing. They're like, no, yeah, we know this. We worship this. So I mean, people.
Right. Well, even my own people, even the Cherokee blood in me and the Lakota blood in me, have stories of this. He was described as a beautiful man, walking across the prairie to our people, and he just kind of glowed, you know, and he introduced himself as Jesus to the people, and you know, they basically he was teaching them about the cross and what it represented and stuff. And with my people, the Lakota and the Cherokee people, that's where basically the medicine wheel comes from. Okay, it comes from the description of the cross, and you know, the 4 directions that are within the cross. You know, and it represents the cycle of life. The seed, the sapling, the young adult tree to the aged tree that drops the seed again, you know. And it represents, you know, certain spiritual animals and colors, you know, on the wheel, you know. So, you know, we have these legends for a reason. And, you know, when you correlate these legends with the facts of the Bible, it kind of makes sense. You know, that even the Mormon church believes that we are the lost tribe of the Israelites that sinned and our skin turned red, you know. And I'll tell you right now, if I hung out outside, I'd be darker than dark. That's just the way it would be, because my skin would be able to take the sun. I don't get sunburned, and there was times when I was growing up that I literally looked like I was African American because my skin was so dark, you know, because I you know, I would be doing the sun dances, you know, shirtless and all that, and the sweat lodges, you know, and all that, and you know, just basically being out all the time. That's the thing with today's youth and the youth when we were children, is we played outside, so we were in that sun all the time. In fact, you know, it's kind of amazing how back in the day when we were children, how our parents never really worried about where we were at or what we were doing, you know, unless it came down to when the street lights came on and your ass wasn't home, then you were in trouble, you know. I mean, pretty much that's what it was, you know, back then. It's totally different today, you know. Now you can't get these kids away from the computer long enough to want to go outside and do things. Thankfully, my own sons here, they do enjoy being outside just as much as they enjoy being on the computer. So, and my own boys are definitely very, very computer literate. They are so freaking intelligent. It's incredible. Hey, Val.
Yeah.
Um, Kyle, good to see you too. Good to see you.
And that's the thing, like me, I don't sunburn either. I've been sunburnt once my entire life, and that's because I was drunker than all get out, kayaking in the middle of the ocean in Okinawa, shooting caves out in the ocean all day. That's the only time I've ever been sunburned. The most I'll do is I'll turn red once a year, then I stay a nice golden brown the rest of the time.
Dancing of the Sun. Yeah. Where's Georgia? Yeah, I'm definitely going to look that up. Peter Lynch. Why does that name Peter Lynch sound familiar to me, Woo?
It does, don't it?
Yeah, it does. It sounds very familiar to me. That name sounds very familiar. Monk mode. Good to see you.
That's going to bug the hell out of me. Oops, sorry, jumped too far. Peter Lynch. Why do I know that name?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that too. Why do I know him? Anyways,
Damn, these chats are flying, so I'm trying to get caught up on them.
Yeah. Yeah, what two tones are those, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, uncut. I tell you, on certain things, I might turn another tone. It's like I'm getting the hell. Look at the time. I'm getting the hell out of this place. I'll be definitely turning a different
I'm out of here. Oh, hey Val, I still have your stuff. I'm waiting to get my paycheck here for disability to mail it to you. So don't think I forgot about you, okay? So I got it right here. So I'm going to be putting more in the packages to everybody than what I promised them. Okay, so there'll be extra things in there since you waited so long. Extra things that I think you all can use. So, wow, it's already been an hour and 15 minutes. I can't believe it's gone by that fast.
Sweet. It's been a great show.
What have you all learned about time travel? I saw a glimpse of something the other day, and we're all versed on the Philadelphia experiment. That thing with the ship, the Navy, and how they time shifted and location shifted at the same time, and when they came back, the part of the crew was actually melded into the metal of the ship.
Oh God,
yeah. I mean that was creepy. But and we've all known about the Montauk, time travel projects on Montauk Island. And we all know that, there's other places and stuff that talk about how, Obama was a time traveler, Baron Trump was a time traveler, and we've all heard the tales and stuff online. But I saw something to where the Vatican actually has a time traveling device in their archives, like 7 stories underground.
Yeah, who invented it?
Which they use. Yeah.
Amazing works of Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that fascinating that the Vatican would believe in time travel, So if they believe in time travel and now they believe about aliens, are they just kind of setting us up for something? If you know what I mean. I'm not putting anything against the Catholic Church, okay, at all, or the Vatican. I'm just asking because it just seems kind of funny to me how they're changing the way they theorize things in the past to the present. It's changed, and I'm just kind of curious of what everybody else thinks in the chat about the Vatican.
So there's, as far as the Catholics themselves, I have not an issue with them. It's the people in the Vatican, mainly the guy that rhymes with rope.
Right.
And what he's doing, he's even turning a lot of his own people against him, because he's even saying the Bible's outdated. There's no use for it. This AI system is going to create a new Bible. This is what we need to bring in. And he's trying to make Klaus Schwab a prophet.
Right.
So the rope or the dope is where I have my issue with it, in which, I've known for a long time there's been a demon king controlling the Vatican. And we're starting
they
to
have
see
the
a lot
white
of this.
pope and the black pope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's a reason why a certain DT feller went to him, handed a letter, and told him, you need to read this wearing your red shoes. So, I mean, this guy is pure evil. I mean, he's wanting to do away with anything Christianity, and he's trying to bring in this Klaus Schwab and World Economic Forum stuff.
One world.
And saying this is the
world religion.
Yep, that's what he's trying to push in. So that's why he's known as the last pope, because they believe if you go by their stuff, what he's doing now fits the timeline of the last pope.
Right. Yeah. It's just scary because there's so many places and organizations and government agencies and religious agencies that try to hide the truth from the masses. And that really ticks me off when they're doing that purposely. We have places like the Vatican that hide the truth from everybody. We have places like Smithsonian that hide the truth from everybody. Our governments are hiding the truth from everybody. What is so scary about the truth that they don't want to divulge to us? Because all these government agencies and organizations like the Vatican and all that, they act like we're a bunch of mindless children, cattle that can be just told anything and we'll believe it. But maybe that's the part that we don't see on a daily basis, because we're still waking up to the fact that things are happening around us that we can't see and hear every minute of the day. And maybe somehow the Vatican is tapped into observing that more than the average person is in their daily lives, and they're able to manipulate it to their advantage. And what advantage you got to ask yourself, what advantage is the Vatican going to have to not disclose something to us? And that's what Eric just said. It's the new one world religion. Okay. And it's coming, it's coming there. The UN's backing it too. The World Health Organization, the Vatican, and the UN is actually doing it.
Yeah.
What's he giving
and that's
you
the
a
thing.
break?
So it was his other comments earlier about difference between Judaism or tribe of Judah and Israelites.
Monk, you're allowed to pick on Eric.
Yeah.
He's fluffy. He can take it.
Yeah, that's why I kind of grin with it. The thing that people don't realize is when you have people believing the way you want to believe, you now have power over them people. And that's the fickleness of human brain. Is we have been so brainwashed throughout generations of thinking a certain way that if you say my way is the only way and you must follow my way, or this is going to happen to you and you're going to go to hell, or this evil is going to take over your whole body, blah blah blah. That's how you control the mass. So if people actually knew the truth of what was going on, they will lose their power because they can no longer control you because you know the truth.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the thing that we got to look out. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I think that Archbishop is the one that was on the thing that I watched the other day on YouTube, and he described a lot of the stuff that's going on with the Vatican that really shouldn't be going on. That the Vatican isn't what the Vatican is supposed to be. It's something completely different. And there is another. What is the name? Kirby Ministries, I believe it's called on YouTube. And he does a lot of the mysterious stuff going on with the Vatican and other things. And here's a theory for everybody too. I want you to think about this, since we're getting on all these subjects today. I'm going to put another one out there. You know how they showed Vladimir, Putin, and the guy next to him at some meeting carrying the briefcase that was allegedly the codes for the atomic weapons.
There we go.
How they carry the briefcase around, and how our country has somebody like that too, that follows the president around, and so on and so on. And every major country has that individual that carries that around. Think about this. Okay. Think about this. Okay. Let me see if I can find the picture. If I can find that picture, I will be happy.
While you're looking that up, people need to realize a certain thing. When the 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven, they never lost their rank and they never lost their power. They are what you call demon kings. Another term for them is kings of hell. They are positioned all around the world in certain key locations. One of them just happens to be the Vatican. People want to think that, demons changed and blah, blah, blah. No, they kept the rank, they kept their power when they fell from heaven. Now, a lot of demons that we see that take in possessions, not every single one of them, because demon kings are known to do it as well. Most of them is what the creation of demons that was created after the fall of the angels. So people seem to forget that little aspect right there. You get that? Find that
now
picture?
No, not yet. I haven't. But anyways, you all know about the let me just go ahead and cancel this out because I can't see you guys when I have the screen up. Anyways, you all have seen the pictures of the Sumerian tablets and all that, and the Anunnaki depictions, holding the pine cone and holding the briefcase. Okay. What if the pine cone that they're holding represents the pine cone on the staff of the dope in the Vatican? Okay. And the briefcase represents the launch codes for nuclear weapons. Think about it. Think about the connection that would show from way back when to today. That when you see somebody around the president or the president of any country carrying a briefcase, that could represent the launch codes for nuclear war. And the pine cone can represent like the pineal gland in the head, in the brain, that represents the sacred knowledge, and the two are held in different hands, as separated apart as far as they can be, because the briefcase is held off to the side and the pine cone is held up above, reaching outward. It's almost like they're telling us that in order to have sacred knowledge, you got to not have the launch codes to destroy mankind. You know what I mean? At least that's how I interpreted it. What do you all think about that? I mean, you've all seen it. I was looking for the picture I have that shows that depiction of the pine cone being held in the left hand of the Anunnaki and the briefcase held in the right hand. And it's just so, it speaks a million words when you look at it, and you can compare it today to the launch code briefcase that's carried around, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now who has the pine cone of knowledge? The Vatican.
Yeah, great
So,
tree of life.
yeah. Because on the
I
staff
mean,
that the Dope uses in the Vatican, it has the pine cone. In fact, there's a huge statue in the middle of the square in the Vatican, outside in the area where everybody stands when they initiate a new pope, and waits for the smoke to come out. That it's a giant pine cone. You know, I just found that
yeah.
a fascinating connection to the briefcase that's carried around by the people with the launch codes around the important people of countries.
Yeah, it's, oh man, I'm behind. I was looking, trying to see if I had that picture too, but I guess it's on my external. It's just a goats. My
I've got it.
gosh.
I've got it on my phone, but I don't have my phone in here.
Yeah. I mean, I know if you study ancient Anunnaki, I know you got to have a certain amulet that you can either wear, carry, or have on a staff that allows you to go through portals without being harmed. And I was always, all my research showed that that's what that suitcase was. It held that.
Right.
I mean, could the possibility of it being the way you're talking about? I can't say no to that, because I mean, we could have very well misinterpreted that stuff, and that's what it actually is. Most of the time, when you look at the amulet that they're using to go through the portals, it's kind of like a loop with a cross with a loop top through most of them.
Yeah, like an Ankh.
Yeah, that's the name I was trying to think of. Yeah.
The whole reason I'm saying that too is think about what it says in the Bible about the Creator being the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It's almost the same symbolism. You have the pine cone representing the beginning, and then you have the briefcase representing the end. It's almost literally the same meaning as Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's dang. I mean that's very well possibility. There's plenty of evidence that show that we had nuclear explosions in our past history.
Exactly.
You go through the soils all around the world, there is so much evidence of that happening. I mean, you listen to the Hindus talk about the Great War between the gods and what weapons they had.
Yeah,
and stuff
just
they
look
did.
at the Veda text. Yeah, just look and read the Veda text. It talks about the Yamanas being used as spacecraft and shooting out basically powerful weapons like atomic bombs. And killing off a lot of the world. I mean, it's in every Veda text that there is, and and we all know about the Namanas that look like bells, which is ironic because you have the Nazi bell during World War II that was found in 1965 in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So
bells make a certain frequency.
Exactly. And bells have been removed from churches. Why is that? Because bells, when you hear bells, when you hear bells, actual real bells, not the recording that's in the steeples now, but real bells like back in the 1800s when they had them and they rang, that frequency that bell produced basically got rid of the evil or the darkness around the church. You know what I mean? It was a frequency where it would chase off. It's like burning sweet grass and sage to remove bad spirits. The sound of that bell, the frequency of the bells that used to be in all the churches that have been removed now, used to affect the darker side of the supernatural and repel it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it goes right back to what we've said here multiple times. Look at the paranormal activity that's happened ever since they got rid of wrought iron around cemeteries.
Right.
And people quit putting
Have a
wrought
good one,
iron around
Juno.
their home.
Yeah. Have a good one, Juno. It's just weird to me how they removed it, because there's not one church around where I live that has a bell. And if you remember back in the days, when we were kids, out in the country, there was like the bells outside the front porch of the houses that mom and dad used to ring when they wanted us to come home.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's
even a kid in St. Joe back in the 80s, one of the Baptist churches I used to go to, I think it was off of King Street, up in St. Joe, Missouri, still had a bell in its chapel. And I remember being a kid, if I got there earlier enough, I used to help the guy that pulled the bell every morning to ring the bell. And it was like a fun thing to do when I was a kid back in the 80s.
Yep.
It was real fun.
Now it's all
MSU
recorded.
still has a lot of them. I mean, we still got a few around here, but yes, about 99% of them are recordings now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Especially the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Monk. Monk just subscribed.
Oh, good. Thank you, Monk. Yeah, we just like to talk about a lot of weird crap.
We love connecting dots. I mean, really, and you think this is why, like on my shows, when I do my shows are a little bit different than a lot of the other content creators out there, because I love putting history in with this stuff, because we nowadays are so dumbified to what's out there that we can only guess this is what this is, and we don't know for sure. The people who's going to know for sure, there's our ancestors, because they lived it, breathed it, worshipped it, everything. It happened. They wrote it down. They talked about it. That's why I think history is extremely important in this stuff we talk about nowadays.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think we covered all the subjects that I had planned for today. We're going to get back into it again. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be coming on and doing a survival podcast where I review some things for you guys to consider getting before the FT hits the fan. SHIT hits the fan. It's getting close. It's getting real close. And I might even do a prize giveaway for that night too, to get somebody started on a basically a bug out bag. Get them some items together and do it up nice. But that's tomorrow night. I might come on. I've got it scheduled for 11 p.m. Eastern. But Eric, if you can make it, I can do it at 10 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come on at 9 for about a half an hour, it's not going to be a long podcast like we have on the other nights and the days. It's probably only going to be about 45 minutes or so, but it's going to be an informative 45 minutes, if you know what I'm saying. So
that would work better, because I'm usually in bed come around 8-9 o'clock, because I got to be up at 0500.
Right. So if we started at 10 Eastern instead of 11, that'd probably be better. But yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow night. Okay. And we're going to go through some things. And like I said, I'm going to put together a small, like a thing to help out people in case they have to bug out, stuff to help them survive, out in the wilderness and all that in the wild, or even in the suburban urban areas, so.
Well, I mean, it depends on if your teeth stay in or they fall out, Roxanne.
Oh, 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 man, Roxanne, you
I'll
got to
pay for
get
that one
him.
in a little bit.
Yeah, I hope you pay for that one. Wow, that was
I told her I was going to
not
make a
good.
new shirt just for her. It's going to have teeth coming out, chomping, going chomper missile.
Oh man. Oh,
Oh,
Roxanne, I wouldn't
oh my
take
god.
that. You be prepared. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, I
Oh
feel
my
sorry
god.
for you. I feel sorry for you, Eric.
I know, man. I'm digging my hole. I'm digging my hole. um, but yeah, no.
Anyways,
And
Eric,
I'm
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
getting
Go ahead.
things ready for.
I was gonna say, go ahead and
Sorry.
describe what you got going on and all
Yeah.
that for your shows and stuff, your channel.
Yeah. So tonight, I'm going to do part 2 of.
Hi, Cynthia.
I'm going to be doing part 2 to the Fae and the fairies. Um, I've been needing to do this for a while, and I haven't done it. And last weekend, it just in my heart, it really laid on me that I really need to finish up the Fae and the fairy folk. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. I wasn't able to give all 10 of the promo codes to
Thank
my
you.
latest audiobook that came out. So I'll finish that up tonight as well. So far, I've got 5 winners. Kevin Bode was my first. Freaky was my second. Roxanne was my third. Uncut was my fourth. Dawn was my fifth. Twisted was my sixth. So I got 6 of them. So I got 4 more to give away tonight. I'm still waiting on a couple people to email me so I can give them the link and the promo code to my latest book. So I will be finishing giving those codes away tonight as well.
Cool.
But yeah, it's yeah, I'm looking forward to diving in and getting this part done. I mean, the Fae folk have always been a fascination of mine. There's so much misunderstood about the Fae. People, and corporations have twisted Fae around so they can collect money. So people think, oh, these things are so cute and friendly, and no, they're not. So
Yeah.
you got to be careful with some of the Fae. So we'll be talking about that tonight. I am working on my book. I've got,
just watch what happened behind me here at the beginning of the podcast.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. That's you're 100% right, bro. You're 100% right on that. So I'll be doing that tonight. Man, I've jumped up to 308 when I last looked this morning. So I mean, I jumped up even from when I did my show yesterday. I done put it out there. If I hit 500, I'll be doing another kind of giveaway. I may be giving a few autographed books away if I hit the 500.
Autographed.
We'll autograph books and mail them out. I've got some sitting up here paperback wise. I've got some sitting on my shelf right now. So we'll be doing that giveaway. We'll be doing that tonight along with the show. So I'm having fun. It's going to be a great deal. I think it's very important we learn these things and quit looking at modern time on things. We need to look at the history and the truth of these things. So that's what I love to do.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
I have got chapter 17 and 18 done on the Two Brothers War and Turmoil. I do have those done and edited. So I started chapter 19 yesterday.
Okay, that's cool.
So,
all right. Well, if you can, go to Eric's channel of The Bizarre and the Unknown and subscribe to his channel too. We're trying to get him up to 500. We got him over 300 so far, so we're doing good. Just makes the community grow. And let's not forget the others out there, like Jessica, who has her podcast and her War Woman Goods on Etsy, that she sells the jewelry, and it's really, really nice jewelry. And then we got D.A. Roberts' Ex Machina podcast, Machina. I can never say that right. Yeah, DAX Machina. Um, he's got a lot of good things going on too. Um, yes, thank you, Woo. Thank you very, very much. I've been going through a lot lately. I've been losing control of my legs and my pretty much my sleep is nothing anymore. I'm getting to the point where I'm concerned about and I'm basically concerned about whether I'm going to be waking up in the morning or not. So, but that being said, I'm still here, and as long as I'm still here, we're going to keep on going. So, thank you all for your support. If you can, like, heart, and share this out, and join us tomorrow night. We'll be coming on at 10 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 9 p.m. In Central, which is Eric's time frame. And hopefully Roxanne and Woo and everybody will be there. David and Melissa, the more the merrier. And like I said, I'm going to be putting together a couple different things for bug out bags. In fact, one of them is going to be this right here, which is a complete fishing kit with the carabiner and the 550 paracord, and inside the paracord is all the stuff you need to fish and stuff to survive. That's going to go in the bug out bag package that I'm sending out to person, and one of these bracelets is going in it. Okay, and a couple other things. So it's going to be something nice for people to have. So if you can, tomorrow night we'll get into it. We'll review some things. I want to go over some of the Augustin Farms food stuff, because I'll tell you guys, if you go on Amazon and look up Augustin Farms, a lot of their canned products are cheaper than what a 12-ounce canned goods in the store would be. So, just keep that in mind, and their stuff lasts just as long as, anything else, because it's all, basically dehydrated and processed that way. So it lasts a long time. Some of the things that we'll go over tomorrow night, and we'll go over a few different things and a few techniques. I'm going to have things that I'll put on the screen that basically you can take a screenshot of, like the descriptions of wild mushrooms, the descriptions of wild berries, the description certain types of places that you can make to catch water, rainwater, treatment processes, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully, Camo Dad, you'll be there. And if you want, I could even bring you on and you can talk a little bit too about stuff. But yeah, that's tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you all there. And then we have our regular shows and stuff too on Friday night, Into the Red Rabbit Hole, and Saturday and Sunday morning next weekend. We have what we're doing today. So join the family. Okay. And please like, heart, and share this out if you can. And if you can, visit the stores. I mean, Eric's got his own store. I've got the store too on Bonfire, where you get T-shirts and coffee mugs and stuff. And yeah, that's one of the T-shirts that Eric's wearing. I'm surprised that thing is holding up really good.
I wear it every time I'm on your show, bro.
It's really good quality stuff too, though. That's the thing. It doesn't like peel off after you wash it, So it's
I've washed
really
this
good
thing several times.
Yeah.
In fact, it's getting ready to be washed here in a little bit. So yeah, no, it's good stuff. I mean, even my shirt that I had when I was on Bonfire, I still wear it. It's not bad quality stuff, but yeah, I mean, definitely go over see Williams merch store. So give him a support. He's got some good stuff on there. And I've got stuff on my Teespring.
All right, guys. All right. Well, with that, we're going to end it. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. And Roxanne, thank you for moderating and keeping it fun in the chat. I appreciate that. And Poncho, you and Woo Rider and everybody, you're allowed to pick on Eric as much as you want. That's fine with me.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
He's fluffy.
I got fluffy skin.
He's fluffy. He can take it. All right, guys. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Okay. Enjoy it. Get out and enjoy it. No sense in sticking around and not enjoying life while we have it. So God bless everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay.